Hello everybody, Daniel O'Connor here from Warpit. Hope you're all doing all right. Nice to see some familiar faces, some familiar names. If anybody hasn't met me before, hello. Nice to be here. Thanks for your time. We'll go through the next sort of half an hour, 45 minutes. We'll go through the new platform. We'll take you through that, and I'll take questions at the end. Becky's here to help. Hi, Becky. So we are aiming for the migration of the platform on the Friday, the 8th of August. That should take us all weekend. The site will go down all weekend, and I'm gonna put in a probably gonna say that we won't be back up until the Wednesday. So I'm just gonna put a buffer in on the Monday and Tuesday if anything goes wrong. So I'll confirm that to you all in writing that we possibly might be down on the Monday and Tuesday, but we're expecting it'll be okay. Everything's gone okay so far, but you never know. So migration on the 8th of August. Won't be back live on the Monday, but potentially could be down on the Monday and the Tuesday. I'll put that all in an email for you. So yeah, purpose of this is just to give you an overview of the system. If anybody still would like to actually get their login and have a play around, sorry, just changing my desk. If anybody still would like to have a login and play around privately, drop me a message. We've had lots of feedback already, but always open and actually really would appreciate some more feedback as well. So drop me a message after this. So I'm just gonna take you through the journey as a user and as an administrator. And this is on record. I'll send this back out as a video as well, or a video link. So here we go. Just save your questions for the end or put them into the chat box. This is your landing page. Don't worry too much about the email address right now. It'll look exactly how you have it already. This is probably going to change a little bit. We've got some work to do on the landing page, but you know, this is designed to increase participation. You know, first thing that you will notice that's different is that as an administrator, you are logged in as a standard user, and you can toggle into your company admin account pretty easily. Before, this was a bit of a faff. You know, you had to have a separate account. So now it's much quicker, and I'll just show you how quickly that is. You know, you're in your demo account, you're in your admin account straight away, where you can do all your management, you know, and then back to standard user is here. Yeah. Let's do standard user first before we go into admin. So standard user, it's basically the same principle, i.e. standard user can add assets, can claim assets, can add things to their wish lists. So I'll just show you the first thing that's changed is obviously like marketplace is a bit more modern and faster. Better filters for searching. Yeah, so there's a bit more facility around that. You click into an asset, and you know, it just looks more modern. Each asset has a unique code, and we also have a barcode and QR code generator now as well. And we can now also we do a bit of crowd sourcing with the values. So we've got the database estimate, and we ask, like, you know, the users actually, does that look about right? Obviously this example's we overpriced. But we've got the AI is now the AI is much better. Well, sorry, the database is much better because AI can now scan for values of the subcategory of the asset. So the AI, instead of, well, it still accesses our old database, but it'll also go out and check procurement catalogs as well for values. The reason why this one's being thrown is because it's got a lot of assets in there, and it's just confusing it a bit. There's also a questions and answer, like a public questions and answer, under the asset now. So this just cuts down on emails. We've done a lot of work on reducing the amount of emails that are going to be getting sent out by the system, just because everyone gets too many emails. So we've kind of tried to keep as many of the non-critical messages within the system. So that's how the browse works. There's still a wish list function as well, obviously, where oh, that's wanted. These are things that I wanted, and then if I'm doing my listings, I can add a wish list item as well. So there's some changes around how we add items. We now have an offline listing possibility. So that was a big request where you've got staff who are working in warehouses or places without any Wi-Fi. You can now do an offline listing, and that will sync up later on. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Another change with listing an item is we are now photo led. So I'm on my laptop now, right? But this will look exactly the same on a phone. And what's nice about this is with how AI is these days. I've done this one. I've prepared this one earlier. So you put a photo up. The AI will analyze the photo, and it'll pull the details of the asset. Yeah. So I put some football shirts up there as a little joke. Let's do some furniture. So let's have some stools. So we've got some stools here. We analyze that. There's a pull out the details of this furniture, and it'll do all the sort of manual input of what used to be a manual input of those assets. So it's picked up that there's two. It's given a little description. It's categorized it all. The only thing it hasn't pulled up there is the condition. You'll see on the upload form there's still the ability to add in your tick box agreement. Has this been taken off the asset register? That sort of thing. There's some estimation on the replacement costs, not too far off. And we can publish that listing. So items now on the system. Dead quick. The AI does all the heavy lifting on that one. Printable records, QR code, barcode. Yeah, so that's that process. We're probably going to remove quick add. We don't need that anymore because that photo led one's quick as it is. There's also bulk add as well, still, where you can upload from a spreadsheet. Let me show you how a wanted ad works. So we've now got the wish list is now freehand. Before it was category based. It's you still can be category based if you want. Something as that. So that then goes on your wish list. This hasn't changed that much. You've still got these list views. But what you can do under these list views now is you can actually communicate with the person who's claimed your item. So those messages stay within and attached to the item. We're pulling all non-critical messages into this little inbox. So you can see here, there's just to reduce emails, it comes into an internal inbox now. I won't go into loans, but there's the loan features there as well. And then importantly, within a standard user, they can now much better control on their notifications. Yeah, so a bit more control around that. Before I jump into company admin, I think I'll open up to any questions before we move from standard user into admin user. Any questions around standard users? Just looking how I can allow Mike 2 seconds. There we go, Mary.
Fab, thank you. Hiya, Danny. Thanks very much. Can I just double check? So from the last time I caught up with you, loans was being removed, but are you actually keeping that in now?
Yeah, we're gonna. There was a
Fab.
little bit of there was a bit of feedback we had about the loans feature. You know, in the previous version, didn't really look like it was getting used very much. So we spent the last 10 days getting that to a point where actually it's pretty good. So yeah, that's going to be back on the system.
Perfect. I'm delighted. I think that was me that had asked for it because it's something
Yeah,
that we were planning on bringing in.
yeah, we
Certainly
know.
for the schools, which is fab. So yeah, Lena will be delighted. She's on holiday just now, but I'll let her know. Thank you.
Yeah, it's I think before, it didn't get used because it was so clunky. So it's I'm very happy with it now. Me and Becky have been testing it this morning, haven't we, Becky?
Thank you.
Can I see any more questions? No? Cool. All right. If I missed anybody on questions, just wouldn't do it at the end. So I'm going to jump into company admin now. The whole focus on this is trying to simplify and make things quicker, make things easier. You'll agree, and I totally, apologize. Over the years, through the iterations of Warpit, there was so many layers. It got complicated. It got very clunky, very slow, and that reduced participation. So, with the design around this one, the whole focus has just been how can we make this quicker and easier for people to reuse and participate. So that's been our kind of leading principle on all of this. So within your company admin, you saw it like that's your standard user, account, and then that's your company admin. So that this took a little while for me to get my head around, but the admin also is a standard user. Yeah, so that's the first kind of thing to kind of get your head around. You don't need to log in with the two logins now. Let's go to people first. So you still will have a list of users, who need to be approved. If you've got that set up, you can also automate them with the email suffix. And something that we're trying to encourage as much as possible is, and some may have heard this term, some may not, but the term single sign-on, so that we can use your organizational credentials to log straight into Warbit rather than having two different logins. So we're trying to really encourage that. And if that's something you would like to set up, we can liaise afterwards. Certainly your governance teams, it's probably something they're trying to encourage as well because it's more secure. So there's a little bit of more ability around engaging with your users. You can actually filter and get segments on user activity, and send them messages through the system. So two users have never logged in, you can resend the invitations, for example. You can bulk upload users, copy and paste into there. You can add your new member, and also you can do the usual where they can just sign up at the link, obviously. Another big thing that we've introduced, and this is again, from feedback, is there's often more than one admin required. So I might go on holiday, so you can promote your users to have an admin account. Obviously, you don't have too many, right? But you can have two or three or as many admins as you want now, which helps with management. Reporting wise, yeah, there's a bit more functionality around this as well. You got marketplace data around activity and what categories are being claimed, what's quick moving, what's slow moving, the demand versus supply, top performing items, top performing users, that sort of thing. A lot more data around that. A lot more filtering of the data as well. So, it's date range or I don't know intelligence on here, but you get insights as well. So about what you might want to do. So, for example, if you have, let's say, a department called lab, for example, you'd get some insights around what different departments are doing and what you might want to what you can do to encourage more reuse. So this will link in with our onboarding system and suggest campaigns you might want to run, things like that. And all of this is downloadable to PDF in Excel. Settings. Few changes here. So you can set up your SSO authentication here as well. That's a technical action which you'll need some help with probably. Features. This has just got a bit simplified, and this isn't final. So we'll probably move some bits of this around. What I'd like you to do, if possible, if you're up for this, is all of your accounts are already migrated onto our test environment. So we did that back in April, and we've been playing around with your accounts since then. But if you want to test this out, it'd be good if you could log in and just make sure that everything's migrated, all these settings are migrated correctly. There's no big surprises in there. There's a few things that we've probably taken out that might exist somewhere else now, but have a little look for that at your own leisure. Locations and departments, same again, but there's a bit more intelligence with it, and also there's a bit more functionality within private groups, because before, when you set up a department, the department just was one entity and a site was one entity. But now we've set private groups up so that a department can span more than one site. For example, you might have lab techs in all your different departments, but before they couldn't all be together, they had to be in a department. Now you can put them into a private group and they can all trade and communicate together. And then winter messages in the email templates now, or sharing, sorry, missed that one. Same principles again with internal, external trades. You've got internal and private groups for your internal trades. And then when an item triggers a deadline, it then goes out to what we now call favorite organizations. This used to be priority 1, priority 2, priority 3. It's now internal, priority 1, favorite organizations, and the rest of Warbit. Yeah. Claim handling is the same. It has a transfer of ownership agreement. That's actually been we've updated that. So that needs to be checked. And also very important, if you're donating items externally, you'll need to check that your old agreement gets carried over. Okay. I'll send details out about this, but it's probably and we'll test it all. But it's probably a wise move to spend some time and just copy and paste into Word or whatever all of your existing messages. Yeah, I mean the high likelihood is that we migrate them all properly. And that's what we're testing for. But just in case, it's worth having those all in a Word document somewhere, should things go wrong. That's all that. And then asset management. This is kind of what used to be your list view, all the same functionality, a little bit of a few more extras. So you still got your bulk edit features. You've got a bit more ability over messaging users. You got a little bit more intelligence there as well. You've also got saved views. So like if you've got a search that you do regularly, it might be lab kit, I don't know, whatever, could be expired items or whatever. You can save those views, so you don't have to keep searching, and they'll update automatically. And then one new thing that we have done is on values. So we now have this is a completely new feature where if the AI behind the system has low confidence on the value of an asset within your system, it will. Becky's been playing today. Kawasaki motorbike. So this will then come into, and if you want, you can review it and change the value. Now this is version 2, right? We're trying to get away from any manual intervention here. So what we're looking at in version 2.1 is, yes, we're already scanning like procurement contracts and publicly available catalog prices for assets, but in future versions, we'd like to try and integrate with some procurement systems so we can pull exact data from your procurement systems. So it gives a much more accurate value. But for the time being, if you want, you can actually change the item values on an organizational level. Yeah. So for example, this operator's chair that's come in for demo account, I can add 5%. I can take it down to £50, for example, and then that'll apply to the database. So, quite a bit to take in there. Becky, have I missed anything? Is there any questions? Is anybody? Sean, I'm just going to allow your mic, and you should give it a second, and it'll come through. Joe, Cara, Paul, I'll come to you next. Sean, you should be live. There you are.
Can you hear me? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. It was just to ask the question: will all of our existing settings, items, and historical transactions be transferred over? Because obviously we've had the system in place for 15 years. So yeah. I just wanted to know: is everything being transferred over for sort of recording purposes for everything that we've done?
Yeah.
Yep.
All your historical, all your settings, all your notifications, all your users, all of your metrics, everything you've done on Warpit previously should be migrated over.
Yeah.
Like we did a test migration in April, and then that's worked quite well. We need to do some work around making sure the notifications transfer correctly. But yes, all the data transferred fine, no issues at all.
Great. And my other question was, I think it was one thing that I'd asked for to see if it would be feasible, is there an option for financial year data as opposed to fiscal year data?
Yeah, yes. That's going in there. Yeah, that's in there.
That's great. Thank you.
And we're going to optimize that for Eric return as well. So there'll be like an Eric return bit.
Brilliant. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. I'll just allow your mic and then give it a second and you'll be able to speak.
Hi, Daniel. I've got three fairly quick questions for you. The first one's the biggest. What written guidance is there going to be for users or admins? So you've just mentioned yourself that there's quite a lot to take in, and some of it I might not need
Yeah.
for 6 months or something. Your
Yeah.
current version of Warpit has a written guide. Are we going to have similar for users and for admins?
Yeah, great. So thanks for that. That will take the place of an on-screen kind of hand-holding process. So it'll take the user through each aspect of the system, guiding them in that way. We're linking out to videos and that sort of thing. So it's going to be much, much better than previous for the standard user. For the admin, the same. But you know, we've actually taken our implementation plan and made a much bigger like a knowledge center. So it'll be much better for the admins as well. So that
Okay.
will all appear on screen. You'll still all have an account manager as well, by the way. So yeah, just worth noting.
Thanks, Daniel. Two other quick questions. When we have a question on an item, so a user posts something on an item, how are we notified of that? So me and my colleague don't sort of live in the app. We'd really appreciate like a notification email that comes through to us to let us know there's a question on the item. Is that doable somehow?
Good question. So within the admin, that's a good question. There'll be some.
Or is the expectation that we just keep logging into Warpit as admins and then we'll look at the notifications on the top right or whatever?
So it'll come in internally here, or it's live. It'll show like this. So I've got a question from somebody on my items there.
But there would be no email to the associated admin account saying you've got a question.
Let me just. There could be if you want it. Let me.
I think that would be really useful. Yeah. Especially people who don't check Warpit very often.
Yeah. So if you make this, email me straight away. That will email you. Yeah.
Okay, that looks great. Thank you. Last one. When you are listing an item, I noticed it might be just because you were using the desktop application, but there was an option to upload a photo from device. A lot of what we do with Warpit is on mobile. Is there an option on the mobile version to take a photo within the app, or do we need to photograph, then go back into the Warpit app and upload from our phone? Because that seems quite awkward and a bit dated.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks for asking. So if anyone on a phone or a tablet goes to this address, which obviously will be different for you, that will behave like an app. So they'll take a photo straight from this action here. So that'll go straight to your phone, photo, take the photo in and load it in. So yes, to answer your question, yes, that'll work seamlessly. And then the next question is, well, is there an app? Well, you know, there isn't an app, right? But this behaves like an app. That once someone goes onto that link on Safari or Chrome or whatever browsers on their phone, it'll behave like an app.
Sounds great. Thank you for your time, Daniel.
Cheers, Joe. And Cara? Paul, I'll come to you next. Cara, I'm just going to allow your mic. Give me a moment. And you can speak now, probably. Mic is live.
Hello?
There you
Can
go.
you hear me now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there going to be sort of like the environmental statistics and stuff that people can see? Because our staff do like to see about the carbon counting and things like that. You know, it is quite useful for our sustainability group and everything.
Yeah, of course. So, yeah, so this is something we didn't realize, but on the old version there was a counter with the counter just stayed the whole time with all the metrics on. So yes, we'll bring that back, but also we've gone kind of on a personal level on each account now. Each user has a bit more detail around what they're doing and how they're performing and what they've done, you know, over time. So there's a little bit more for them as well. But yeah, take your point and just I'll show you so that other people know. what I'm talking about. On the old system, every page had this ticker count at the top, which people will miss, and you're the second person to say that today. So we'll bring that back.
Okay, perfect, brilliant. Thank you, Daniel.
And Paul, let me just activate your mic, 2 secs. There you go, Paul.
The one brilliant thing about this is I came into this with a huge list of questions, and as everyone's been talking through it, I've been ticking them off. So all of my questions have mostly been answered. So that's great. Just again, going back to the little bar at the top, and that was mentioned a minute ago, there was also, you could also go in and get some nice graphs and pie charts and things like that. And I think those were always quite useful, but they were awkward to export out. I just wondered, we'd have to take sort of screenshots and things. I wonder if there's been sort of similar graphs that can we can export out a bit more easily.
Yeah, we'll do something along that lines.
Just so it can be dropped into reports and stuff.
Totally.
That'd be great.
We'll do that. But we've only got this sort of thing, which isn't as nice as it. But we'll sort that out.
Okay, that's great. And that was it, because all the other questions were answered either by people. I did see that Becky put in something right at the beginning, something about a map in the browse thing in the chat.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
So I don't know what that's about. That sounds quite interesting.
Thanks for
that's me done.
Great. Thanks, Paul. Good to see you.
Yeah, likewise.
So we've done a bit of work on thanks, Becky, on different ways to view your assets. So obviously you've got marketplace view, you've got, I'm back in standard user now, by the way. You've got like a list view, and then we've done a bit of work on a map as well. So for example, I'll pick on Edinburgh. You can now see in the region where assets are, and even on a building level as well. So you've got 12 assets in Queen Margaret Hospital here. And you visit the listing. So just a bit more. That value is a bit better, isn't it? So there's a bit more variability on how you can search for items as well. And we look like we've broken it. No, I haven't. This map isn't obviously like completely full. Looks like we're just doing a refresh somewhere. But once you get fully migrated across, reset that. Once you get fully migrated across, you'll see this get populated, and this is breaking. I'll let that load in. And it's worth mentioning that if you've got your assets on private, then obviously it won't show up on the map. So any more questions? Pete, I'll just allow your mic 2 secs. There you go. Should be able to speak. Can't hear you yet. Should be able to speak now, Pete. It's showing that your mic's off. We can't hear you. I'm gonna mute, and then I'm gonna disable your mic, and then I'm gonna activate it again. Okay. Okay, I've activated it again. I'm liking it, Pete. Do you want to drop it in the chat box?
Hello.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, you got me.
Yeah.
Hi. It's a really simple question, and you may even have covered it in the first 10 minutes. I was a little late. Are you able to go into a user's profile and see a list of the things that they have had over an extended period of time. So all the claims that they have made. There have been occasions when I've needed to do that, but not been able, or wanted to do that, but not been able.
Good question. So I don't know the answer to that one.
Yes.
I don't know the answer to that one. Becky, can you help? I don't think we can right now. No, we can't do that. We can sort that out though. Yeah, we'll sort that out. That's a big one. That's a big one. It might be that we've done it, but I can't remember where it is.
Sure.
Becky, I'll just unmute you 2 secs. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, sorry for waving maliciously. Okay, so the first thing, I think it's in reporting, Daniel. So if you go to company admin and go to reports, I think you can report by user.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Excellent. Thank you.
Is that what you're after, Pete?
It is, yeah.
And then
Wonderful.
the other thing that I put in earlier in the chat that probably has got missed is it's worth mentioning uploading offline, because that's a really great feature.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mentioned that briefly, but basically, you got this offline feature now, so you can be in a warehouse or down in a dungeon somewhere, and you can do all your uploading, and then it'll sync when you get back to Wi-Fi. You can speak into it as well, so you can walk around and talk your assets into the system. And we got Paul. Is that your hand up again?
Yeah, it's another hand. No, just on the offline listing, does the AI still automatically fill things in if you're offline, or is that?
It'll sync when you get back to
Okay.
when you get back to the matrix. It'll sync for you.
Right. Okay, but not when it's offline.
Not when it's offline, no. But it'll save
Okay.
that photo, and then it'll do the work when you sync.
Right. Okay.
And thank you. And Joe?
Me again, sorry. Am I right in thinking there's no capacity to loan items in Warpit 2.0?
Yes, there's an ability to loan.
So if we've got existing loans that are booked, will that information transfer over to the new loan feature? Because we don't want to lose bookings, if that makes sense.
It should do.
But is it wise to maybe back up that data somehow?
No, I mean the migration is going to take like 2 days. Well, we've actually already migrated to the test area. It would be handy if we could give you a test login and you had a little look around just to make sure
We'd be really happy to do that.
Yeah,
Sure.
Cool. Just drop me a
Thanks,
message
Daniel.
afterwards and we'll set that up.
Thanks, Daniel.
And Andrew, was your hand up? Samantha? Andrew, was your hand up? Yeah, it is. Yeah, got you. Sorry. Allow Mike. Andrew, you should be able to speak now. Sam, I'll come to you next.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Right. It's just a question again about, I know you mentioned about user manuals and basically thinking like give like an idiot proof guide to people using it, and we produce one for our staff, but are you saying it's all going to be done on the system?
Yeah, when they log in, they'll be kind of guided through the system. Like you kind of see in other software. It incrementally, bit by bit, they'll be handheld through each part of the system.
Okay, thank you.
It's not live yet. It's still being written, but it will take them to show them how to browse, show them how to list. Same with the admin. And Samantha, you should be able to speak now.
Yeah, just a quick question around this offline. So obviously this is a web-based. If we've got no internet connection to get onto the web-based, how does the offline listing work?
Very good question. Well, it definitely does. 'Cause I tested it this morning. So when you try to go to the Warpit site for your account, this page comes up and takes so that and takes the asset manually and stores it to your local storage on your phone or your laptop. I tested this morning, so I know it works, but I don't know how.
Yeah, just thinking outside the box, if you're on a site and there's no Wi-Fi, how are we accessing the offline?
Yeah, I literally did that this morning. I don't know how it does it, but this link will open this page, and then you can take your you can
Okay,
do your
fantastic. I'll give that a test.
Yeah, please, anyone, if you want to test this out before migration, just drop me an email and we'll set you away with an account, and you can actually start to really, see how it works. And Pete, I'll should be able to speak.
Hello. Just wondering if our members will need to update their links or any of those kind of things, or everything that they're already using, shortcuts, etc. Will they go to the new site? Is it using the same HTML address, or is it slightly different?
Yeah, it's a good question. So if someone's saved like the upload link in their favorites, is it going to be the same? I don't know. I need to check on that one. I assume so, but I'll confirm. Great. And I'm just going to scan the chat. Single sign-on, Rhiannon. Single sign-on should be ready on launch. Once it goes live, should be able to get straight in. Will the recording of this meeting be shared? Yes, it will. Thanks, Cowan. Any more questions? Will the badges remain on the new system, like 100 club, 250 club? Yes, so there will be badges, and we're going to be not in this version 2, but in version 2.1, there's going to be a bit more functionality around, rewards, champion reusers, champion departments, things like that. So yes, 100 club, 250 club, that is still going to be there. Will the name water be changed? Are you keeping it the same? Oh God. So that is been an ongoing concern of mine for 15 years. I would love to change the name, but what you're going to see shortly is lots of software getting out there, created by AI and that sort of thing. So your brand and your name becomes much more important. So unlikely to change the name of Warbit sometime soon. There might be a re-emphasis on like the reuse network or the reuse system or whatever, but Warbit will stay in some format. You don't need to register again, Katie. You're just gonna all your credentials will transfer over. And I think I've caught every question there. What's the timescale for 2.1? Blow my neck. 2.1. Simon, our developer, is very overwhelmed at the moment, so I haven't got a date on that. But I'm gonna say like updates are going to be much easier, much quicker. So it's going to be like a month or 6 weeks later. And Paul says, keep Warbit. I love it. Unique and memorable. You try saying it 100 times a day, Paul, on the phone. Kirsty, the name Warbit is now integrated, and so the name change will probably cause more confusion. Thank you. Do we need new data sharing processing agreement? Rob, thank you very much for asking that one. I was going to contact everybody individually, but yes, we're going to have to do a new what some organizations call a DPIA form, so that will have to be updated. So I will send out a message about that. But if you are familiar with that term, then I'm going to need your DPIA form to be sent through so we can update the records on that. Good question, Rob. Thank you. When an item is uploaded, will it still send emails to all users, say it's there, and will owners still get emails when someone claims their item? Yeah, so good question, Louise. So we've really spent a lot of time on trying to reduce emails, right? And as you know, there are critical emails and there are like nice to have emails. So the users can now control what that is, but there are certain emails which will always stay critical. That is claim confirmation and a couple of others. And question from Joe.
Hello, just a question about the homepage. You showed us a load of tags on there, I think. Can we have any control over what tags are displayed? For example, we don't want to display lab equipment if we can help it because it's not relevant to us and a few others. So we can select what's visible to our users.
Yeah, so you will be able to choose, and this isn't live at the minute, but it's a critical part of the system. Your marketplace, you can choose what categories of items are traded on the marketplace, like you could on version 1.
Right.
So if lab isn't being traded, then lab won't appear anywhere. Same with anything else like that. This landing page isn't quite finished yet. There's going to be a bit more customization around this. So probably better to show you this one, which is more like into what we're going to have. So each of your marketplaces will look something like this. You're going to be able to add a little bit of information, you know, and then it will also include the metrics and images of what's available. And you're also going to be able to, version 2.1, you'll be able to do color schemes as well, and a big hero image. So we're trying to get to the point where the Warbit landing page becomes your reused landing page on your intranet site.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you. And I'm sure this was probably one of the first things you said, but I was a few minutes late. Do we have a confirmed date of when 2.0 is going to roll out?
So migration, it's worth mentioning again, migration is planned for Friday, the 8th of August. And what migration means is we'll shut down the whole system. We've already done a test migration. We then do the real migration, migrating all customers' data across to the new version. We then test it, make sure everything's transferred okay, and then we switch the system back on again. So we think that's going to take Friday night, Saturday and Sunday. But I'm also going to add in that we will be down on the Monday and Tuesday, potentially. So I'll put that in an email for you, so you've got all the data in front of you, all the information in front of you. But as a kind of fallback, we're gonna be. I'm saying we're going to be down Monday, Tuesday, but it's not likely. But it's just to cover should anything go wrong, and if anything goes really wrong, we've got a backup migration date of the 31st of August. So what we'll do, if anything goes really wrong, is we'll put version 1 back live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we're going to do the migration end of August over the bank holiday.
Okay, so there's potential to roll back for a few weeks if needed while bugs are fixed. Yeah, okay, that's fine. And you said you were going to send out some information for us.
Yeah, I'll confirm all of that on an email to everybody.
That's great. Thank you, Daniel.
And any more questions? Okay, so thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I know you're super busy. And I'll send that out as a link so you can view it or share it. And yes, drop me an email if you want to get access to your account now and have a look around. Okay. Any more questions? final call. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Okay, thanks everybody. Really appreciate that. Have a great day. See you soon.